Okay, guys, we're going to do something that you already know how to do. You guys are going to divide this polynomial by this linear factor. I don't care which method you use. You can use synthetic division or you could use long division. Okay, ready, go. Okay, I'm going to put the answer up on the board. Don't peek until you're done. Okay, you can look up and check. Thumbs up if you got a remainder of 0. Good. All right, nice. Raise your hand if you did synthetic division. Oh, everyone did long division? You did synthetic? Okay, nice. Did you get the same answer?
Yeah, I just...
So guys, what this means, today we're going to be learning about the factor theorem. The factor theorem, it says, if you're dividing by a linear factor, that's what we're doing, right? We're dividing by a linear factor. And it gives a remainder of 0. We got a remainder of 0, right? Okay. Then the x value from that factor is the 0 of the polynomial. So guys, since we got remainder 0, what will this, what's the 0 that this gives you? So you get 2x equals, move the 5 to the other side, then divide by 2. This is the 0. So that means we have an x-intercept of the polynomial, okay? That's what the factor theorem says. If you divide a polynomial by a linear factor and your remainder is 0, this is one of the factors of the polynomial, and this is one of the zeros of the polynomial, okay? That's what the factor theorem says. Now we're not done. We finished with this polynomial. We started out with a cubic polynomial. When we divide, we got smaller, and we're left with a quadratic. Let's go ahead and factor this. So, go ahead and factor that polynomial. 3x squared minus 7x plus 4. Please factor it. I'm going to put the answer on the board. Don't peek. Look up when you're done to see if you're right. All right, everyone look up. Are these the factors that you got? X minus, good. Let me see your thumbs. I see a lot of head, good. All right, nice. Okay, so guys, we're doing stuff that you already know how to do. We've already learned how to do synthetic division and long division, and you already know how to factor. So we're combining these things together. So that means our factors are 2x plus 5 is a factor. We know it's a factor because our remainder was 0. And then the other factors we found were x minus 1 and 3x minus 4. So these are my factors. What are my zeros, guys? Negative 5 over 2, good. Positive 1. Thank you, Leah. All right, so these are my zeros. What's the multiplicity of these? 1, yes. So if you graph them, go ahead and graph them. This is what we learned yesterday in the last lesson, how to graph these. Go ahead and sketch how to graph these. I want my y-intercept included in this sketch, and then check with your neighbor. Y'all should have identical graphs. Do y'all's graph look like mine? Okay, so I have my y-intercept here at 0, 20. Because if you plug zeros in right here, all these are gone. And you're left with 20. That's your y-intercept. I have my zeros right here. They're all odd multiplicity. All the multiplicities are just 1, and 1 is an odd number. So if it's odd, you're going to go through each x-intercept. Okay, I'm going to have you guys try this example. Oh. Try this example. And remember, when you divide a linear factor and it gives you no remainder, that means this is a factor and you also found a 0. I'm going to put the answer on the board. This time I'm going to do synthetic division. If you did synthetic division, notice it's missing the x squared term, so you needed to put a 0 in its place. The number that goes here is the 0, not the factor. So the 0 that corresponds with this factor is 7. You get that by saying x minus 7 equals 0 and solving. So you get x equals 7. That's what goes out here. So you bring down the 1, multiply, add. Multiply, add. This is 12. Multiply, you get 0. So because your remainder was 0, this is a 0, and this is a factor. Okay, does that make sense, guys? Okay, let me show you another thing. This is actually, if you plug f of 7 into here, you're going to get 0, because this is the point 7, 0. This number represents the y value of your x-intercept. Okay, so let's look over here. Our previous example, we got a remainder of 0. That means negative 5 halves. If you plug negative 5 halves into each of these x values, if you put that in your calculator, you're going to end up with 0. That's because it's an x-intercept. Your y value is always 0 at your x-intercept. This is the point that's on your graph. That's right here. The y value is 0. So that remainder of 0 actually represents the value of your y. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Let's move on. Any questions on this? Okay. We're not done. This was a cubic, so this is a squared. This is your linear. This is your constant. Now you can factor this. You need two numbers that multiply to 12 and add to 7. That's 4 and 3. So your other factors are x plus 4 and x plus 3, and the one we found in the beginning, x minus 7. Okay, so your zeros, 7, negative 4, and negative 3. So if you graph it, here's negative 7, oh no, it's negative 4, negative 3, and 7. And your y-intercept is at negative 84. So guys, the only thing that you have to remember is the factor theorem. Whenever you divide a linear factor and your remainder is 0, this is an x-intercept. This is the point 7, 0. This represents your y value, your remainder. Okay, let's try another one. I want you guys to tell me if this is a factor. You can use synthetic division, or you could do long division. Ready, go. Let me know. You got to put a 0 here because it's missing the squared term. And this is the factor, so the 0 that corresponds to it is negative 1. Multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. Your remainder is not 60. This is not an x-intercept. This is the point negative 1, 60. That is not on the x-axis. I'm assuming that's somewhere up here, -160. That is not on the x-axis. So this is not a factor because you got a remainder that is not 0. Okay. Now guys, I want y'all to use the factor theorem to find all the zeros. Ready, go. All right, I'm gonna put the answer on the board. Please look up and check. I walked around and a lot of you guys had the answer already. Multiply, add, multiply, add. Our remainder is 0, so this is definitely a factor, and this is definitely a 0. This is the point -2, 0. Remember, your remainder is just the y value, okay? All right, so this was a 4th degree, so this is now a 3rd degree. Okay, I can split it down the middle, so I can factor. These two can be divided by 9x squared. These two can be divided by a -1. So whatever you divide by is always outside, and you simplify it. -4x minus 4. Whatever matches, that is one of your factors. And what is on the outside, whatever you divided by, that's your other factor. Now, this is a difference of squares. How did you guys factor this? Good, Tizara. What's the other one?
3x.
Thank you, Tizara. Okay, so guys, these are your 3 factors that you just found. And this is the factor that we verified in the beginning. So those are our 4 factors. We have 4 factors, that means 4 zeros. What are they? Yep. So -2, -1/3, 1/3, and 4. This one gives you a +1/3, this one gives you a -1/3, this gives you a +4. All right, so these are our 4 x-intercepts. So I want you guys to sketch it real quick. Go ahead and sketch it on your paper. And your y-intercept, what's your y-intercept? Yep, thank you, 8. This is an even degree polynomial, so both ends should be facing up. So you start up here, go through each of those x-intercepts, just like that.
How do you figure out what the y-intercept is?
You figure out the y-intercept by plugging in zeros everywhere. So that's 0, that's 0, that's 0, you're left with 8. That's your y-intercept. Yes?
Which way the graph starts? Are you looking at the original or the one that
You're looking at the original to see what the shape will be. Yes, not this one, this one.
And then SR multiply, right?
Good question. Any other questions? All right, nice. So guys, we're gonna do synthetic division with -3. And we're gonna see if it's a 0 or not. And if it's not a 0, I wanna know what the point is. What's the y value that you get when you plug in a -3? So I'm gonna bring down this 1. You get -3. Add, you get 5. Multiply, -15. Add, you get -3. Multiply, you get 9. Add, you get 2. Multiply, you get -6. Add, you get -20. So we did synthetic division with the x value -3. If the x value is -3, work backwards. What was the factor?
x plus 3.
Yep, x plus 3. So they're saying if you do division, you divide by a linear, then that means your remainder is f of c, the y value at that x term. So our x value here was a -3. This is the y value that it yields. So on your graph, you'll have the point -3 and maybe -20s down here. This is a point on your graph, but it's not an x-intercept. It's just a point on your graph, okay? This is the remainder theorem. This is the x value, your remainder is the y value, okay? But this is not a 0, it's not an x-intercept. So I'm gonna have you guys do one more of these. Let me know what you get for number 4.